Beaded Doilies by Shell. In this video I am going to be showing you my new earring pattern that I am including with my 2020 pattern collections. In my collections I have 30 plus patterns and the names have both number and letter. The number represents the bead size the pattern was originally created for. This one is created for the 11/0 delicacy beads. I started out with 4mm faceted beads, so most of them will have 4, 6, or 8 in the name, which represents 4mm, 6mm, or 8mm. But my patterns can be created with any bead type, so I have included a size chart for different beads so that you can choose which doily according to the bead you are wanting to use. The letter represents the item it was originally created for. For example, this one is an earring pattern. I also have coaster and pendant and ornaments and so on. For most of my patterns, I do have a playlist of beaded doily tutorials. The basics show you how to create most of my patterns, whatever shape they are, but this one is slightly different because it's 3 doilies connected together, so I wanted to show you how to do that. The weave used in my doilies is the hexagon angle weave. You use 6 beads per circle, and it can be worked in different directions, which is what this pattern takes advantage of. Now what I mean by that is this small one here is the same size as my teeny tiny doilies, and when I do those I usually do the middle row first, come over, do one side, then cross and do the other side. For the hexagon shape, in the large patterns I usually start on one side and go up and down the rows like this until I complete it. For the shapes like hearts, circles, and eggs, I start in the center and do one side going up and down the rows. Then I'll come back and do the other side. That's because I find increasing to be difficult, so I just decrease. And I like to keep things simple, so I do it that way. In this pattern, what we're going to actually be doing is going diagonally. So I want to show you how I do that. And here I have samples of my first 3 earring patterns. These earring patterns are available for free. They're an image on each of my Etsy listings for these particular patterns. So feel free to try them out. I did it so you can see what the doilies look like, learn the technique, and see the color choices to see what you like the most. Now here I am going to show you the first part of the earring pattern, and it will show you the technique, and then I'll give you some information on the second part, and then the rest, will be done the same way. With these, I start at the top and add the accessory first. So in this video, I'm going to be using the 1 needle version. I do have a video for the 2 needle. And for the 1 needle, I start here and I add 1, 2, then the accessory, and 4. So we will add 2 beads, then the accessory, and then we'll add a 4th bead. Then I recommend that you go through a second time all 4 things. This gives more security, and it also helps to hold your string in place while you are doing your first circle, because I like to tie a knot, but I'll do that after the first circle. So you want both of your string ends coming out of the bead that is across from your accessory. So there's your accessory. You want both strings coming out of this bead here. So now we've added this, we're going to do the first. Now here is where I show you the way the hexagon angle weave is. You actually can go 3 directions. You see where it's connected to other circles. So you can actually go here, here, or here. Now for the first circle, I let the string decide where I'm going. So that's the easiest way. So you lay out your thing. This part is usually all one color, so it doesn't matter which way it's laid out, but you always want to check. And then you see which direction your string is coming out, your longer string at this point. So we're going to add in this direction. So we'll add our 5 beads. Then we go through the bead that our string is coming out of, and you want to see where the long one is coming out. You want to go in the opposite direction so that it's coming out on the same side. And there you have your first circle added. Now, because we're coming out on this side, and we want to either be in this bead or this one, because we're going to work our rows diagonally, we'll go 1, 2 beads to get into place, because we're going to use this one here as our starting bead for our row. So we'll go through 2 and there. And your small string should be okay at this point. Don't pull on your accessory at this point, because you might pull it loose. And then later you will just secure it, which I do show in some of my different videos. Now we have added this first one, and we know we're coming out here. So we see which string, our string is coming out the bottom of it. So we will add our next set of beads in this order. Then just like before, you see where your string is coming out, and you go through that bead on the opposite side. And now we figure out where we want to go. Well, our next row starts here, so we want to be in this bead here. We happen to be coming out here. We could have been coming out here, then we'd need to go through 4 beads. But we're coming out here, so we only need to go through 1, 2 beads to get into position. I've gone through 2 beads, and I'm where I want to be. So we've added this, we're in position. We see where our string is coming out, where it's coming out here. So we will add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beads. And again, we see where our string is coming out. We go through the bead in the opposite side. And there. Now we know we're coming out on this side. Now we need to determine where we want to be. Well, we're going to go this direction because we're working diagonally. So we want to be in the last bead we added. So we're going to go through all 5 beads again. Now, this next circle, as you can see, includes 2 beads on our previous row. So we want to go through the 2 beads on the previous row that is part of this circle. 1, and 2. And that means our string is coming here, so we're going to add 1, 2, 3. And then let's see, how would I, okay, so you want to find that first bead, because you see this is 3 are all part of it, so you want to find that top bead of your previous circle. You want to go through it, and then you want to go through those 2 same side beads that's part of your circle. And there we have added this circle here. Now we are currently coming out of this bead, so what we can do is just go through the 2 side beads that are part of the next circle. Wait, oh no, we're coming out here. Yes, we only have 1 we want to go through that's a side bead, so you need to be careful there. So go through 1. You can also go through this one here and add the beads in this direction. So actually coming out of this one, you have 2 ways you can go. But I'm going to go through number 4 and go this direction. So that means the previous row, you want that 1 bead that is near your string. And then, because we are coming out here, we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4 beads onto our piece. And then we're coming out here, so we want to go in this side, so that's the top bead of the previous circle, and then also that bead that our string is coming out of. We want to go through that. And there we have added those. Now we need to see where we want to be. We want to remember that we are currently coming out of this one here. So we want to come into this next row. So we want to actually be down here. So we are going to go through all 4 beads that we just added. Make sure they're just the 4 beads on the circle you just added. Alright, so now we're in position. We're coming out this one, because we went this way, we're coming out this direction, so we're going to go through 1 more bead, because both of these beads are already on our piece and are part of the circle we're doing. So where your string is coming out, you're going to go through 1 more bead, and now you are coming out here, so that means you add 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're coming out here, so you're going to want to go in here. So that means where your string is coming out, you want to go 1 bead opposite, go into it, and then also through the bead that your string is coming out of. So that puts us coming out of number 2 again, and we have 2 beads that are part of this next circle going in the direction we're headed. So on the previous row, you want to go through 1, 2 beads. And then we're coming out here, so we're going to add 1, 2, 3. then we're going to want to go through all 3 beads. So where your string is coming out, you want to go to that one on the other side and go through all 3 beads. 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so we've added our beads. We're coming out here, and we want to be here because we're going to go into our, if you can make sure you can see that, we want to come out here because we want to go into our next doily. So that means being here, we're going to go through 1, 2 beads to get into place. 1 and 2. So we'll set this aside now. And we'll show you the first of the next one. We are currently coming out here because this is our previous doily, and that means we will add our first circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, always make sure that this is laid out to match your first doily. Most of mine are mirrored, so it won't matter, but sometimes they're not, so you want to make sure it matches. Then when you add these 3, you want to make sure they are added according to the way this one is laid out. And then the side your string is coming out of, you go in the opposite side. And then you've added this first circle. Now our string is coming out here. So now you have to decide, are you going to go this direction or this direction? I usually go this way, so then I would bead around 4 and come out here. But if you don't mind going this way, you just go to 1, 2, and you can go here and start this way. And you just check each time. For example, this next circle will lead into this one, so you'll always go here. And then this one leads into the second one, or the next row, so you would go here. Then you want to follow the road going, so you'd make sure to go here. And you do this each time. And you'd find out where you want to go next. And you would add your beads. Now, another tip is if you are used to going up and down, what you can do is just turn the pattern diagonally, and then your rows are up and down. So you can also do that, but I wanted to show you in this video how to follow the pattern going diagonally, because that is how I do it. I hope that you've enjoyed the video. If you need any further help, please let me know, and please go find my patterns and start creating some beautiful earrings, and I hope that you enjoy them. Happy beading!